Hello there, welcome to a new game in EU4. We're playing as Friesland, and the goal will be Je Maintiendrai, which is forming the Netherlands as a Dutch minor. You can be Utrecht or Gelre as well, but I chose Friesland because they're kind of interesting as an administrative republic. Production efficiency plus 10%, autonomy minus 0.2, and years of nationalism minus 5.2 monthly, that is. So the goal here, of course, is we're going to be playing as Friesland, and if we really want to be successful here, we need allies. Now, the big bad dog in the north is really the Hansa or Brandenburg. Of course, Brandenburg don't really like me much, which is kind of, well, I guess it's kind of understandable. So what we're going to do here as a kind of a better measure is ally ourselves with the Hansa and Brunswick, and we're going to be aiming at getting Münster, East Frisia, Gelre, Utrecht, Oldenburg, Stade, basically the area here under our control more or less as soon as possible, because it's going to be, of course, very important for, well, the future survival of the nation, more or less. So we definitely want to start fabricating claims. Münster seems to be the best option here. If I go for, well, East Frisia, I can definitely beat them, but the main issue, of course, will be that that potentially we could, of course, get Pomerania dumping down on our heads here, and that we don't really want. So Münster is the better target than allied with Bremen. Bremen can be handled by, of course, the Hansa and Brunswick most likely. So I don't really have any worries there. And as such, we should be fine. Why am I improving relations with Brandenburg? Now, mission-wise, we don't really have anything good here, so we're just going to cancel the mission, see if we get the 1-point stability mission. And we are going with, I'm actually not going to be choosing, well, Münster is going to be set up right away, but I'm not going to be choosing anyone else, because potentially these guys might be allied with them or ally in the future. As of now, they're not, so we're going to go with East Frisia and Oldenburg, because, well, both of them hate my guts, so why not? Now, we're going to be waiting for this claim to be fabricated. I am going to, as I said, build up a fairly good army here, 6,000 men. And hopefully here we can find Münster as soon as the truce runs out. Bremen, as I said, should be handled by, of course, Brunswick and the Hansa. So if I beat the rest, I should be fine. Hopefully the Hansa will not fabricate a claim on this province, because if they do not, I will go for straight out annexation of Bremen. I core the province before I make peace with Münster here. That's at least the plan. Now, as you can see, I'm losing almost 1 ducat a month, but I do need to get morale up before, of course, the claim is complete and we declare war. And we also want to get the alliance up and running before that, so we'll get our going back home. And of course, we hate their guts for some weird reason. But who cares? A military deal will solve that. So there we go. We'll now get our second alliance, and with that we are looking pretty damn strong for the war against Münster to get off. They're also allied with Anhalt now, but again, I'm pretty sure that Hansa can deal with that Bremen army. Brunswick should be able to deal with that Anhalt army if it requires it, and I don't think I'll be bothering with Anhalt, at least at this current moment. They're a little bit too far away for me to care about them. As you can see, all of my allies will be joining. I have, or had, a little bit of an advantage here. I lost now. We'll not be recruiting a general, we'll just be converting the ruler, of course a crappy one. And the funny thing about Friesland is that they get a randomly generated ruler upon each game. So this guy could be potentially a serial across the line, 2 or 1 to 666s. So we'll see if you do this yourself, you might benefit from just trying to bounce that a couple of times. I'm going to take 2 loans here because I'm kind of in a worrisome situation since we are attacking them. We might actually get some, well, rather negative rolls here. And apparently the Bremen army has managed to sneak past our defenses. And we're now getting trashed because the Hansa did not manage to get themselves a military access deal from anyone apparently, which is kind of weird. And of course my army decides to split in, well, 2 different directions, because why not? Luckily enough, it seemed like the Hansa got themselves a military axis here that we needed, and with a little bit of help here, they should be able to finish this, hopefully, on their own, or we can do that. I'll split my army in two here because, again, it's kind of us that are wanting the province, or I could just let the Hansa siege that since they're already on it. And we'll claim East Frisia because we'll get some military points from that. And we'll also make a claim on Oldenburg because, again, these are two of the provinces that we want. I'll actually split this one in half because Stade is, as I said, something that I will be looking to annex right away during this war. So hopefully I can make something work. If I'm lucky to, I can most likely bribe Anhalt for some money, for loans, etc. So we'll see here if I can actually make something work. With a small nation like I have right now, it shouldn't be an issue that we take a little bit of a hit due to, well, obscurantism. So I'm going to get rid of the mercenaries as well. And hopefully here now, I can make something work. We'll just have to wait and see how the siege goes. Of course, it's going to be a little bit expensive. I should probably tone down a little bit, but I'm worried with the trial. So basically I can choose between losing 50 points in all three categories or getting 10 points and losing 5 Republican tradition. It's high, so we'll see him acquitted. But anyways, as I was saying here, what we'll do now is wait. I will take some loans still, because I'm kind of worried that the attrition will get too high if I do not. So the goal is annex Stade and then annex Münster once we get into position where Stade has been caught. There we go, we just completed our mission, fabricated a couple of claims. We are going to go with the annexation, and as you can see, we'll fabricate a ton of aggressive expansion, which will most likely force us to keep quiet. I could go for a vassalization, it'll actually be quite a lot cheaper, but at this current stage, I think with the basically the immense cost in aggressive expansion, it's not really worth taking them out. Of course, it would give me some benefits in terms of power per se, but right now, Stade isn't really. They're not really something that I would be comfortable taking per se. Now, taking Münster on the other side is probably going to be doing a double deal like this. It's going to be it's dangerous. It's not something I want to do. I will just go for Münster for now. I'll be happy with that. Although this is not a good thing by any means. I do need a bit of. I'm really uncertain what to do here. I think we're actually going to go with first making a deal with Stade annex. Again, we'll go with that full annexation. It will be a little bit costly in terms of aggressive expansion, of course, but I kind of do need to build up a military power base here, or I need some power if I want to do stuff. So we'll be going with this. I'm a little bit unsure if the catch and release method would be prudent to do here. It might be, which is the interesting part. But for now, we'll go with coring Stade first, and then we'll vassalize. Münster. Anhalt will bribe out for some cash, which will be a little bit of inflation. Well, I give quite a bit of inflation, but there's not really too much we can do about that. I do need the cash to protect myself, but also to pay back my loans, pay back my dues, if you will. And as you can see, it's actually 45, so it's kind of expensive. Reducing inflation for now is not an important task. I need Stade again. I need to build up my own power, and this is a good way of doing so. Brunswick will hate my guts for it, because they do have a claim to the province. And of course the world around me will hate my guts for it because of the aggressive expansion. As you can see, 26 has more or less been given to a lot of the area around me. 23 with 26 all the way down to Bavaria. Austria got 15. So after Münster, we'll probably keep quiet for a decade or two, or just take some pot shots. We'll see what we'll do. But I need to be careful here to not get a coalition against me early. If we can get a war against Burgundy where they're weakened, that would be brilliant, or Geldre for that instance. But unless we can do something like that, I don't see a good chance of, well, getting anything, more or less. So we'll play this careful. We'll try at least to play it careful, and I'll also try to not fabricate too many claims. Once after these two, I'll probably just again sit quiet for a while. We'll see how it plays out. And there we go. As you can see, we have got accepted culture with Hanover, which is a little bit interesting. Now, the funny part is, I would actually be definitely prefer to attack Gellera right away here, because I can then bring in Oldenburg. But again, this is kind of an awkward spot again, because of the fact that it's kind of weird, but I think that is actually what we're going to do. Overextension wise, it's potentially really, really bad. From a strategical standpoint, it's probably really, really bad. Two reasons why. It's a core for the first part. It's a Burgundy core. Second, it's basically, if I attack alone, I'm most likely going to lose. I do have the money to hire mercenaries, but even so, Gellera is too close to. They're just too close for comfort. But I think we are going to. Again, East Frisia already joined the military coalition against me. Oldenburg, Gellera, so yeah, I'm going to have to play really carefully. Brunswick broke their alliance, etc. So, not surprisingly, that was enough to create quite the uproar. So I think we'll have to stay quiet for a while. For quite a while. And that's not really much else to do. That is kind of the problem with the whole Roman Empire. You get a ton of aggressive expansion for basically nothing. It's 3 provinces here that have changed hands, and 2 of them are not completely mine. Of course, I could release Stade and then take them diplomatically, but I don't think that would help too much. For the time being, we'll try and strengthen our ties with the Hansa. I might go for building a mercenary army of about 5,000 men. Because if I do that, I think with the help I can actually take out these 3, potentially go for triple annex. Of course, it's a horrible idea if you consider the fact that there will be huge armies against me, but for the time being, I think I'll go back to just sitting tight, and I'll consider what we'll do as, as time passes, more or less. So I've ended up in a situation where kind of the temptations are a little bit too much to bear. As you can see, Oldenburg does not have the troops at home, they have them up in Lübeck. I was not called into the war, which is kind of interesting. But all in all, this puts me in a pretty damn commanding position, per se, because Gellera, East Frisia, Saxe-Lauenburg, I think I can actually defeat these guys, and the reason for that is really simple. I got a pretty good general. I had a election, got a admin-focused general, for the reason, getting national ideas quickly, but I'm also soon getting a military tech upgrade, and as long as Oldenburg and Saxe-Lauenburg are basically over here, I'm pretty sure I'm fine, because I do have Münster on my side. So we're going to take a chance. I'm going to go with, take Oldenburg, which is my war goal here, and if I can get Gellera and East Frisia as part of a deal, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, it seems like Münster is once again doing a silly little thing here and attacking someone on their own, which is not something that I would advise or, otherwise be fine with. It's kind of a problematic situation when they do decide to move on their own without any backup of any kind, and of course it's kind of a troublesome situation having to clean up after their messes. But as you can see, we have a pretty good start to the war. We got rid of their 2 armies. If I'm lucky here, the Hansa will deal with these armies, especially if I actually come to aid them. But if they are defeated, I'll just hire some mercs, and that will most likely solve my issue here. These guys are actually coming for me, so we'll just go ahead and hire a couple of mercs right away. Should hopefully be enough, but if not, then of course I have to deal with that as things are going. Now, unfortunately here, they actually went straight for this army here, down here, which is not the best, but it could give me the advantage that I'm looking for if we win this battle. Because first and foremost, their armies are they're not united at all. One will run all the way back to Saxe-Lauenburg, I thought, but didn't actually run that far. And the other should, in theory, have run even, further. Now, the funny part here is that due to my victory here, I don't get what the hell Münster is doing even. It's kind of a weird scenario. And why am I getting those events that often? But anyways, I really wish that Münster would actually do something on their own right now, because they are more or less just being annoying. But anyway, since... yeah, well, you don't have to attach anymore. But anyways, we're going to have to siege these two first, because those are the main goals. The loans will be, of course, a big issue here. But my enemies don't actually have any forces, so to speak of, that could potentially pose a big issue here. But what I am going to do is actually take these two, march them up there. I'm going to have to take some loans here. Saxe-Lauenburg will most likely be the ones that will be paying those loans. But all in all, I think I will be able to pull off a victory here. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. Loan-wise, it could get quite expensive. There we go, the provinces of importance have been sieged. I do have some monetary issues that will most likely last a while. I've taken 14 loans for a total of 100 ducats. But we are going to do something that could be argued to be a silly move. A real silly one. I'm going to get quite a bit of aggressive expansion still here. I'm going to take 2 provinces by force. Again, kind of a silly move. But it's just too good of an opportunity to pass by. If I am carefully and keep Hansa in check, it is definitely going to pay off. That is basically my reasoning behind it. Although it could be argued that it's not the best kind of reasoning, it is my reasoning nonetheless. Oldenburg, Hansa, Utrecht is one, Burgundy is another, Denmark will be the third. So incorporate Oldenburg into our country is probably the best thing I can do right now. We're also going to take the first set of national ideas. We're going to take the first set of military tax per 0.25, land morale 0.5, and I can build an armory. Ideas here, we're going to go with influence, because they are basically vassal-based claims, annexation costs, and of course aggressive expansion. Humanist would be my second choice, but we definitely need influence now to, well, save our nation, more or less, or build up the power of our nation, if you will, because it definitely is necessary. And hopefully here, even though I have gone on a pretty aggressive scale, I hope that I can make things work here. So we are going to get some pretty negative modifiers here, unfortunately. So we'll decline that. Kind of bad that the Emperor got that right away, or we got that from the Emperor right away. The coalition here is going to be rather big, but I'm hoping that I can weather the storm and just sit by, well, quietly incorporate Münster, incorporate Oldenburg, keep the Hansa as an ally here will be invaluable. It will be basically the most important thing to focus on. But as you can see here, 72 is the current aggressive expansion with some people. Some people don't seem to care. Among them, as you can see, Brunswick here. Brandenburg actually cares more than Brunswick. Interesting. But anyways, as I said, the goal here now will be to keep quiet for approximately a decade. But we'll continue next time. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this has been an interesting start. And hopefully Friesland will just continue growing. We'll see how it goes next time. Bye. Oh, sorry, feel free to comment any praise, criticism, advice, anything at all. And hopefully I can weather the storm. We'll see how it goes.